Hi everyone, it's me Maria with Nail Nation 3000 here on YouTube and Nail Nation on Facebook. And now you can follow me on Twitter at MCS_Nail Nation. Now for those of you who don't know, if you are not following on Facebook or Twitter, you may not know yet that we have released the launch of our polish line Nail Nation 3000. It's available directly through me, through Facebook, as well as on Holo.com for select colors. And for Holo.com, she also carries lots of different indie brands. That's pretty much all that she carries are those unique brands, brands that you don't typically see in the store. So it's a really great place to go and kind of one-stop shop all of the best of the indie polishes. So that's Holo.com. It's LLAROWE.com. And going forward, she will have a different lineup than I have available at any given time. So, and these are all colors that are part of my current line and my future collection that will be released soon. And it's a layered design. It's really actually very simple. It just looks a little bit complicated with the color layout. So I'm going to show you what I did as a base on the swatch sticks because they're a little bit larger. It's a little bit easier to see. So this here is Passionate and Wowadoodle, which are two of the holos that I have available now. And what I did was I basically kind of at an angle polished one end with the light purple, the other end with the blue, and then just barely blended the center. And this is actually what is under our stripes here, so that it'll look like a gradient. You don't have to do all the work for the gradient because the striping really hides that. And then this here is the base color for all of the other nails, and this is Satin Sheets, which is an effect polish, which means that you can put it 1 to 3 coats on its own, or you can polish it over colors or gradients and it gives them a color morph effect. Is at an angle. I used a dark teal holo, and it's kind of hard to pick up in the light here, but it's actually really hollow. And I polished at an angle with a little bit of an arch. Now, what you're going to need to do this design is a dotting tool, a palette of some sort, or a plate if you're using something disposable, your colors that you're choosing to use. And what I did here was using the existing colors, Passionate and Wowadoodle, and then the silver is just Holo Dreams, which is just a silver holo, so if you have anything like that. They don't have to be my polishes, of course. And then you just need your striping tape. Now, I use a striping tape that's very thin, so that way I can get them closer together and create very thin see-through stripes. What you have to do from the bottom of your cuticle straight to the tip is to the tip of the nail. You're just going to apply it this way. And you want to press it down really well as you go. So each stripe, you want to make sure you press it down, and then give yourself enough room on the end there where you'll be able to pull it off using equal spacing, as equal as you can get it based on the shape of your nail. And you're just going to do that all the way across your ring finger and your thumb. And the more you use the striping tape, the easier it gets. I have found that if you're using striping tape that is very thick, it's harder to get it to do what you want. The thinner striping tape, sometimes it flies away a little bit when you're handling it, but when it's on the nail, it's so much easier to use, for me at least, in this type of design and in a design where you're going to keep it on the nail and not pull it off. What we have done is equally spaced the striping tape across the nail, vertically across, and all we're going to do now is take our darker color, which is this dark teal here. We're going to polish across the nail in clean lines. You want to try not to have to go over it too many times on each stroke, just so that you don't go under any creases that you may have there. If you press it flat, you won't have too much trouble with that. And you can let this set for just a moment if you need to go in and kind of cover a corner a little bit. And unevenly and polished over, we're just going to gently remove each stripe of striping tape to reveal the colors that we have underneath. Now you can have fun with this with several colors. And all you'll have to do now is top coat it. So that's actually super, super simple for that part. Color has dried like this, your base sheer color, and you have polished your matching darker color that you're using on top. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your guide and you're going to position it with as much space as you can for the length of your nails. Going to polish Passionate, which is our purple color here, and we're going to use our silver Holo here. But what we have to do first is stripe over this straight across, not on this corner. So we're going to do basically the same thing we did here, except for we're going to polish over it in the silver Holo. And then you just finish each one with 1 or 2 coats of a high gloss top coat. And then you just finish with a high gloss top coat. I recommend something thicker like Posh, Seche Vite, my high gloss top coat versus the 45-second top coat, because with the striping you want to fill it in and kind of fill in the seams a little bit so that you don't have as many ridges. Okay, so the next step will be that we will stripe evenly spaced like we did here across this portion of the nail and avoiding this corner. Now, the way I have found that this is a little easier is if you pull a long strip, cut some of them a little longer than the others, and then have them ready to put on. Then all you have to do is grab them and stick them on the nail as you go. So what we're going to do is apply the first coat across the corner, and we're using our guide here to not get the polish on this area here. Then what we'll do is take the silver, and you should only need 1 coat, but if you should need 2, be very careful. If you get a little bit across this side here, you can cover it back up with your second coat of purple. And you just go from the cuticle area across the nail. And I'm doing this with thin coats so you can actually see where it is on the nail. And then we'll go back over it with the second coat. Normally I just do a little bit of a thicker coat and just do 1, but this is so you can see what you have here. And we're actually almost done. So what you would do is you would go on to the next nail and you would let a couple of them set and then pull your tape off, or put your second coats on and then pull your tape off. Try not to do more than 2 at a time or 3 at a time, depending on your comfort level. Otherwise, you're going to have a difficult time with bumping and, you know, the tape sticking to things, and it might mess up your design. And then we're just going to go over it and make it a little darker on the purple. And then I'm going to go ahead and add the second coat of the silver. And you can see here where a single thicker coat would work. As I pull it over this, it's just enough to give it the silver tint over that teal color. Scissors for this step, you pull off your stripes and then you just gently take your guide and go at an angle here. And then when you see, if you have a piece of striping tape on the edge there that is coming off on its own, just go ahead and remove it. And it's okay if your guide comes out first. If you're more comfortable letting your nails dry completely, just make sure you leave a little off the edge where you can get the striping tape off. And it's going to look like this, which is this. And you can see where the silver overlaps the blue. And then all we're going to need to do here is take our blue holo, which I'm using Wowdoodle, and a dotting tool, and we're just going to apply a few evenly spaced and gradually getting smaller dots off the edge of the nail. And you can add rhinestones and things like that. And these are our two nails, the two designs.